Well, you've all heard it before. It can't happen here. It can't happen in America. Government-run health care written by big insurance companies, doubling premiums in 2013, hammering the poor with gigantic payroll tax increases. Hundreds of power plants being shut down, massively increasing our power prices. General Motors being given government bailout money to move its Volt and other Cadillac factories to China. The NDAA, the secret arrest of Americans, checkpoints on the highways, driving to work today in Austin, Texas, on Sunday, coming in here to fight tyranny because the times have gotten so desperate. Not once, but twice, I saw troops directing traffic on the street. Yesterday, I went to Texas Independence Day rally, an event in Washington on the Brazos, a little town, and they had National Guard there. It's all about acclimating the public. The TSA putting their hands on you, sticking their hands in your pants, saying it's for Al-Qaeda when the government runs Al-Qaeda in Libya and Syria on record. Criminals took over America. Foreign corporate interests have captured us, and now they want to really exercise their power and put their hands on us and spy on us without warrants and use weaponized drones domestically. I saw the CNET news article just a few days ago where they openly reported that Homeland Security has programmed the Predator and Reaper drones and others for domestic operations and to read American license plates and to track gun owners and to even identify gun owners with guns under their clothing. We, the people, are paying for a military to be used against us, and a technocratic robotic air force, and now a ground force of robots, where the power structure openly brags soon they won't need troops anymore because everything's going to be automated. They're taking all your neighbors, like your wife or husband, were there in your life. You think you had fights with your wife or husband over how much money you're spending or what you're eating or where you're going? How about everybody involved in your life now? Man, to watch them shamelessly take those 20 dead kids and wave the bloody shirt, problem, reaction, solution, when they killed 1 million Iraqis, most of them children, for so-called oil, and when they have collateral damage, Bush, Obama, they'll kill hundreds of people in a village to kill one, quote, bad guy. Who knows if that's even true? It's like, oh, collateral damage, no big deal. There's no crying. There's no, it's all bull. Sure, in a perfect world, you could argue that if there were biometrics on guns or something, it might cause less crime. But the people that want to take the guns are globalist conquerors. They're criminals. That's why they want to take the guns. Not all the reasons they give you. And that's what's so serious about this. So here's my message to the anti-gunners who aren't actually authoritarians, who have been dupes of this. They're going to take all the rights. They are taking the rights, systematically. Every other country's had their guns taken except Switzerland and Israel. Okay? And Switzerland has the lowest crime rate in Europe. They're trying to take their guns right now. Our crime rate's gone down 49% since 1991. The last 20 years, It's gone down 49% because gun ownership's exploded. The gun culture was the bedrock, the only thing left that was about being self-sufficient, taking care of yourself, protecting yourself. Women were getting into it. I mean, record sales of Hello Kitty M16s. Women were jogging now with fanny packs with guns. Rape was going way down. Home invasions, carjackings. I mean, look it up. We'll show you some of the statistics. The system is in trouble because the nanny state doesn't want that. It wants you passive, not to build some kumbaya, let's all, get together, let's all, like John Lennon said, love each other. This is the globalists saying, stand down, turn in your guns so they can dominate us. And so you're getting what you want. Those of you that feel like you're winning, just like you thought you won with Obamacare. Now they're doubling the premiums, bankrupting everybody, and not covering pre-existing conditions. The insurance companies owned by big banks wrote it. It's a total corporate tax. Supreme Court ruled it's a tax to corporations. I mean, but still, you feel like a winner. And now you're going to feel like a winner as 16 different states are on the verge or have already passed laws banning all semi-autos, making you turn them in, and also arresting people caught with over 7-round or 10-round mags, depending on the state. And they know gun owners aren't going to turn them in. It's a new way to persecute gun owners and call us terrorists. And they've now announced Homeland Security's main job is going after gun owners. It isn't Al-Qaeda. Oh, the NSA, the drones, all of it's for gun owners. Because the foreign powers that have taken over America, the foreign megabanks that brag that they've conquered this country. Our article, banks brag they've conquered the U.S. and Europe. They brag they've conquered us, and they're bringing in a new world order, not to give you guys socialism to empower you, but to give you socialism at one level to emasculate you, to make you dependent. And it is horrible. And all the gravy train's going to end, folks. We had incredible prosperity because we had liberty. We weren't perfect, but we had more economic liberty than any other country the world's ever seen. And we had half the world's wealth, 5% of the population. People say, oh, it's because you were militaristic. All those other countries are militaristic too. A lot of them had bigger landmass than we did. But because we had more liberty, we excelled. Everybody wanted to come here because we were wide open. Now, I've addressed the useful idiots out there that are conned by all this and really think that movies are accurate and that you shoot guns and, buildings blow up. For those of you that don't know that it's just a tool, I feel sorry for you. I hope you'll go out and take some shooting lessons and demystify it and join the Republic. I love you. I care about you. I want you to have a great future. Guns are the canary in the coal mine, folks. They go for those in every society. Look out and look at what's happening. Now, I have a final message for those that are tyrants like Dianne Feinstein and the globalists, George Soros and others, Bill Clinton. You know exactly what you're doing. You have bodyguards. You have your own firearms. You're on record. And Dianne Feinstein has said many times, if she could get all the guns taken, she'd say, Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them in. Well, she came out last week and she talked about how, I know it's an uphill battle to get the guns. That's at the federal level. They're banning them state by state right now. But she said there will be more incidents. And she went and did this, but there will be more incidents. And you see, that's their game plan. And we're going to play a clip of that. There will be more incidents.
These events are going to continue.
Because she knows they can set themselves up. Here's the gun confiscation plan in a nutshell. They're setting themselves up as the saviors. Obama says over and over again, we can't allow this to happen one more time. We can't have one more kid shot. And so then when more kids get shot out of 315 million people, it's going to happen. Statistically, it's way down the line of causes of death. Even the Justice Department's own memo came out last week. They said we might as well just ban all guns because actual mass shootings are only 35 people a year that are real mass shootings. Let's just ban everything if you want to cause, violence to, quote, go down with guns. So, see, that's their real end game. They're just using the poor kindergarten kids' deaths because that gets to all of us and tears us up who are parents. But in a nutshell, she's going, I know it's an uphill battle, but there will be more incidents. And so every time there's an incident, now gun owners, it's our fault. Our right did it. And it's also free speech is causing problems. So all of you for free speech, you're causing the problems. And all of you that are for states' rights or privacy rights, every time there's a problem, it's your fault collectively. The opposite of a free society. When someone commits a crime with a car, you're guilty, all drivers. When someone commits a crime with a knife, you're guilty, anyone who has a knife. When someone, some parent abuses their child, you hear about how bad parents are. See, you're guilty, you're bad. That's pure authoritarianism. That's the heart of communism, socialism, fascism, oligarchy. Study history. And so their plan is to, every time there's a shooting, play it up, blame us, oh my God, the gun owners, they're the terrorists, they're the criminals, as they flip the entire Homeland Security apparatus and the troops on the streets and the TSA checkpoints. They're now having gun checkpoints in Texas they call anti-gang on major highways, where they search your car without warrants. This is the essence of authoritarianism, and it's all done not to fight Al-Qaeda now, but to fight gun owners, returning veterans, those that believe in a second coming of Christ, libertarians, in the fetters, people that like patriot documentary films like Aaron Russo's documentary, America, Freedom to Fascism. This is what they list. This is what they train for. 95% of the training manuals that we've shown you on air, that we've published, that Washington's blog did a great job showing 18 pages of their manuals, 18 pages of links on public manuals that they give out to ice cream shops and barbers and tattoo parlors, saying, is somebody getting an American flag? Call the police. Is somebody getting a tattoo of a gun? Call the police. To get everybody to be Stasi tattletales. We are converting to an authoritarian system. And the reason it's happening is because the tyrants and their agents, their front people like Dianne Feinstein, have created over 1,000 trillion in derivatives that they have signed us onto. It's not our debt. And they are planning on fully imploding the society and using poverty as a tool of control, where they come back in with government welfare and food stamps and programs to then be able to control our lives and dictate, hey, you're on welfare, you got to take the 100 vaccines a year, we say. You're on welfare, you got to get sterilized. You're on welfare, but pretty soon everybody will be on one form of welfare or another, or work for major global corporations that are getting government welfare. This is a fascist takeover using socialism at the grassroots. The real political system is a global combine of 6 megabanks owning and controlling the Fortune 500, exempt from all the national laws, combining the money and the funds into their coffers, shutting down industry in Europe and America, shipping the jobs to China where the globalists own the factories, shutting down our power plants while opening their power plants. It's a monopoly game where they have everything rigged. And now they're entering the end game of trying to make you debt slaves under Agenda 21, telling you there won't be street lights anymore. Oh, there isn't an American dream. It's an American nightmare. It's good for the environment. This is such an authoritarian, technocratic system we're facing. So if you love your children, I mean, not just my children, every time I see other people's children, every time I'm out in crowds of people, I almost start crying. I had to come in here on Sunday morning, and I called Rob Dew, and I said, do you care about this? Are you upset? And he said, yeah, I'll come in and help you on a Sunday, and left his children and his wife to come down here. You see, I'm working 7 days a week. I'm dreaming about this stuff because I've studied it. All I think about is this, because it's normal. We are under authoritarian threat. We're under predator threat here. And you should have chills right now. You should be upset about how diabolical this is. And all you've got to do to defeat it is to speak out against it, is to see it. But what it's got going for it is how horrible it is. That's what Dianne Feinstein's got going for her. That's what all these globalist slime bags have going for them, is the system is so horrible and so evil. It's so over the top, the average person just can't imagine it. So I'm begging you, get out of the learned helplessness. Get out of the mass Stockholm syndrome. Get out of your normalcy bias. Jews and others in the concentration camps just got used to watching people work to death and then shot every day, whoever couldn't work anymore. And they just got to where it was normal and wouldn't even fight back when it came to be their time. Same thing happened in the Soviet gulags. Alexander Solzhenitsyn talked about it. Same thing's been written by people that survived the Maoist camps. I mean, folks, I've seen this so many times through history. I've studied it. I've interviewed the survivors of it. This is really bad, okay? It's not about liberals and conservatives. That's all just the fake window dressing to make you think there's a choice. We're in deep, deep trouble. In the last 2 days, 3 times I've seen regular Army and others on the streets. There's now TSA checkpoints downtown Austin on the news. See, I told you years ago it was coming to your town. Now it's where I live. It's going to get worse and worse, and it's always reasonable reasons to acclimate the troops, the police, and you. We're all being conditioned for a larger plan, and that's why they're moving so quick. They're getting ready to implode things. But if we're aware of the fact that they're behind it, they won't implode things, or they may back off partially, or even if they do implode things, we have a better chance of beating them long term. But bottom line, laying down to these people, acting like sheep, only encourages them. A nation of sheep will be ruled by wolves. Stop being so compliant. Stop going along. Start speaking out. Start spreading the word about real media that tells the truth. Warn everybody you know, because we're all in grave danger. If you love your children, get out of your coma, get out of your learned helplessness, get out of your normalcy bias, get out of the mindset and the attitude that, oh, it's not your job, or there's nothing you can do about it, or there's no future. I'd tell people 10 years ago, 15 years ago, NSA, Project Echelon was spying on everything you did illegally. You're like, you're a kook, that's illegal, that never happened. Now it comes out that everything I said was accurate. It was public then, too. And people are like, okay, so what, big deal, nothing you can do about it. I mean, folks, they're putting cancer viruses in the vaccines. They know the aspartame gives you type 2 diabetes. That's why it's up by 3,000%. I mean, it's in the news now. They're putting plastic in the products, in the milk and stuff to give you kidney failure. They're killing us. They know the flu shot gives you the flu. Folks, it's so horrible. Everywhere I go, there's like kids with neurological disorders and people, they're murdering us. It's upsetting. I don't want to just sit here and take it. And fighting with the stupid brainwashed minions, the cops and people, doesn't do anything either. They're being targeted as well. It's an info war. We've got to wake people up. They're launching the drones. They're launching it all. They're coming on us because they're coming against us now because they know their time is short. This is an incredible time in history to be alive. For God's sakes, folks, don't just support Infowars.com. Don't just spread the word about us. Get the word out at your church. Get the word out at work. Speak out everywhere. And if your church won't talk about it, leave. Take people with you. Start your own church. I mean, this is an emergency, folks. And remember, a lot of you won't listen now. You'll make jokes out of this, your defense mechanism. But down the road, as more and more of this happens, and as you see everything being shut down, and as you see the depression rolled out in increments, and those that engineered it always posing as the saviors, as you see all this unfold, you've already seen everything else we talked about unfold, and people trying to rationalize that and make excuses, and desperately find something we were wrong about so you could discredit what we're saying. What we're telling you is in plain view. We don't deserve a pat on the back for telling you this. I'm not a hero. I want to survive. I want my children to have a future. This is an exterminist, ultra-Hitlerian, eugenicist-based system. And if you don't know what a eugenicist, ultra-Hitlerian-based system is, you better look up eugenics. You better look up Malthusianism. You better look up the New World Order. You better look up Agenda 21. You better look up smart meters that are literally a robot attached to the side of your house, bathing you in high-powered RF waves and stealing all your data, just like the Google cars I told you a decade ago were stealing your data. Came out last year. They're driving around with government codes, breaking into everything, stealing your photos, your passcodes, your mail, because it's the NSA. And the NSA isn't American. It's a foreign banking cartel. Again, ladies and gentlemen, it's up to you. I'm just here, a watchman on the wall, 21st century Paul Revere, just like you are, trying to get you out of your coma, trying to get you out of your trance, trying to get you to think for yourselves. I'm Alex Jones, signing off from the front lines of the info war for Infowars.com. The gun confiscation has begun. The persecution and the purge of gun owners is beginning. And it's only going to get worse unless we really get aggressive and call out the tyrants for what they are. A bunch of sick freaks trying to protect their criminal takeover. Ask yourselves, what are you doing in this time of great challenge? What are you doing to unlock minds? Go to Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.tv for the latest headlines and cutting-edge information.
So great job, Alex. Definitely exciting. even on vacation, he seems to get those things out. So very exciting, very in-depth a longer piece than we're used to, but not used to from Alex. But anyway, that's it for the InfoWars Nightly News. I'm your host, Jakari Jackson. Be sure to stop by PrisonPlanet.tv, get yourself a 15-day free trial, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.